Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right, everybody, welcome back. Another episode of the Booyah podcast. We missed you. It's been a while. A lot of things have happened since we last saw you. But today we have a very special guest. Let's see, Dog Dad.
Yep.
Guitarist.
Got my girl Naya.
Radio host.
Peanut butter and jams.
And legislative fiscal analyst.
Oh yeah.
Dave Schultz.
Shout out to Rhode Island.
Before we get started, I've learned that it's important to do your plugs early in the podcast and not at the end. So here is a little bit of what's going on. Number one, West End Blend just released a new track called All You Got. And we also have a new track coming out on the 19th titled Stranger. So I'll provide links in the comments below for that. Please go check it out. And what else do we got? Anything? Well, I'll let you guys plug. Do you guys have anything coming up?
Peanut butter and jams.
Peanut butter and jams.
Saturday afternoons, 89.3 FM or WRTCFM.com.
Nice. Awesome. All right, man. So let's get started. Let's introduce you to our audience. The first thing I want to ask you is, what is your earliest musical memory?
Well, the first musical memory I had was definitely going to some Rolling Stones concerts with my parents. Okay, can you remember the first one? I remember, so it was the Voodoo Lounge tour, which I think was early 90s, and the Stones were playing in Oakland, the Oakland Coliseum, and I was living in the Bay Area as a child. I was born out in San Francisco.
Okay.
San Mateo County, specifically, same hospital as Tom Brady.
Nice.
Just saying, the GOAT. But yeah, we were living out in the Bay, and the Stones were playing at the Oakland Coliseum, and it was right around Halloween time, and we went to a whole bunch of the shows, and it was a great time.
I was looking through your Instagram earlier today. Was there a photo of you like as a little kid at the Oakland Coliseum?
Oh, absolutely. So it's like relatively long story. I can kind of give it like a summary.
Spark notes.
The Spark Note version, Cliff Notes summary. But so basically, my dad worked for rock bands from when he was growing up towards the end of his career. He started working out in Los Angeles, doing shows at different arenas, and just doing like crew-related stuff. And then the Faces played there a lot, which was Rod Stewart's band at the time.
Got it.
And he got tight with their crew, and they took him in as a touring kind of roadie. And the guitar player in that group was Ron Wood, and he ended up joining the Stones not long after the Faces kind of broke up.
Okay.
And he brought a couple of roadies with him, my dad included.
Really?
So that was pretty, that was their connection, and then he stayed with the Stones until the late 80s, early 90s, right around the time I was born.
And what was he doing for the Stones, like on the tours?
He was doing a lot of the stage kind of hand stuff. So he did a lot of guitars with Keith, which is really cool, but he also did Charlie's drums, and they had a very small crew. There was probably like 3 or 4 guys on it.
Okay.
And that traveled with the band and did everything.
Yep.
And versus now where it's a larger kind of an organization, there's a lot more moving parts back there. But back then it was a smaller crew. There was like 3 or 4 guys, and they really kind of took care of business, those guys. There was a legendary guy, Chooch McGee. He was one of their longer
with
roadies.
That kind of name.
Oh, 100%. And his road case is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame down in Cleveland now.
No way.
Which is pretty neat. He was from Michigan. And there's a real neat story about this guy. So he was working in a club in Michigan. The Faces came through, and he exchanged numbers with Ron Wood and did a favor for him. He needed a guitar or something, and Chooch came through and got it for him. And Ron Wood gave him his number.
Yep.
And then Chooch, years later, went to visit London and got mugged. Somebody stole all his shit, and all he had was that number. It was in his wallet, or it was somewhere he had. So he called him and said he needed help. He's here in London. Can you help me? And he gave him a job.
He gave him a what?
He gave him a job.
That's amazing, dude.
That's one way to get hired.
Dude.
Yeah, which is pretty darn wild.
Wow.
And then he ended up becoming best buds with my dad. My dad was Chooch's best man at his wedding.
Wow.
Chooch getting mugged, I guess, really kind of led to me getting boring.
And also the fact that he saved that number. Like, don't throw out phone numbers you get from people, guys.
Definitely not. I mean, you go to London and it's crazy. I mean, he probably didn't have too many numbers there, but I mean, he saved it, which is the clutch part.
That I know. Well, now we know the origin story of Dave Schultz.
Yeah.
Wow.
it's really cool, like, backstory to you, man. And like this kind of helps lead into my next question too, which is like, what was it like, just growing up with, parents that were so heavily involved in this like touring music scene?
I mean, it was real interesting. I mean, we definitely got to see a lot of good concerts. Like my dad's. I mean, that was a relatively small crew, I'd say, different musicians and whatnot, and the staff that worked for him. So there were always a few different bands that would come through, and I'd get to go see them, and my dad would be able to see a couple of his friends. There was a guy, Alan Rogan, who worked. He was another one of these legendary roadies to check out with like Wikipedia pages and whatnot. Right. But he did George Harrison's guitars. He did the Stones for a while, where my dad met him. But Pete Townsend was the longest kind of guy that he was with.
Really?
And so whenever the Who came around, we'd always get to go see Alan. And it was funny, right here in Hartford, where my parents met at when the Stones played for the Tattoo U tour. Alan Rogan met my mom first. And she was talking to him, and he looked at her, and like after speaking with her, he's like, "Listen, my buddy Gary, my dad, is going to really like you." And he kind of connected the dots right here in Hartford.
Wow, that's really cool, man. And like, so growing up, like, were you always on the road? Like, was that just a part of like your early childhood, just like always on the move, always on the road, or like what was that like?
So my dad kind of stopped working for the band right around the time I was born.
Okay.
It's a relatively longer story, but he had cancer in the 80s, and they told him he wasn't going to be able to have children. Okay. And so he kind of shacked up with my mom, and they kind of planned in a way that they weren't going to have children because the doctors told them it wasn't going to happen.
Right.
So then when she got pregnant, it was like a 180 on him, and he wanted to really be a family man. He was like, "Listen, like, I got to do all the fun stuff. Like, we toured with the Stones. We did all this stuff. Right. I wasn't supposed to have a kid. I've got one now. Let's see what being a dad and settling down like." So once they had me, they ended up moving back out from San Francisco here to Connecticut, and kind of we settled down in the suburbs. My dad kind of got like a relatively like suburban type job. And it was funny for him. I couldn't imagine, like, 15 years ago, you're, like, touring with the Stones, and now you're at, like, a Cub Scout meeting. Like, like, we're playing around outside.
What's up, Angel?
Hey, what's up, man?
So,
I can grab this if you want.
Yeah, everyone say hello. This is Angel, the Arch Street Tavern head chef de cuisine.
Coconut shrimp.
Oh, hell yeah.
Man. Come on down and try some of his food. It's amazing. And from there, how did you come to, like, I want to know, like, how did we get intertwined with you? Like, I think Bufundo is kind of that common thread. So how did you meet Bufundo?
So we have a common acquaintance. He's my friend, but Mike Bruno is
Bruno, yeah.
Is kind of the Bufundo. So I went to high school with Mike Bruno.
Got it.
And it was cool. When I was in 8th grade, I was in a band with guys that were in 10th grade. And there was this big, like, quintessential summer high school party where the parents were out of town. They had bands come play. Yeah. It was called Spencer Fest. Shout out South Windsor.
Spencer Fest.
But there was some Spencer Fest concert, and it was cool for me because I was the incoming freshman, and I got to play in this band with high school kids at this party. And Mike Bruno's band but he played after me and crushed it. And I'm like, this guy fucking rocks. Like, I want to be his bud. And we ended up becoming buddies, and he went to Academy in Hartford.
Which is where Bufundo went as well.
Oh, okay. And through him, I was able to meet Bufundo, like, junior or senior year of high school.
Got it, okay.
And it was, like, pre-Grant's Tomb Bufundo, which is cool.
It's a Bufundo I've never met.
Szechuan Tokyo was this wild bar in West Hartford. It was like a Chinese-Japanese restaurant.
Yeah.
And they had jazz, good shit. And yeah, that was one of my first gigs. Shout out to Szechuan Tokyo.
Dude, that's so
Where
funny.
Paul Lewis.
Where-
I want to say over by like, is it like Jake's Burgers or something like that? Or there's like a Dunkin' Donuts. There's
Oh
like-
yeah, did the Jake's way back?
Yeah, I think that's where it
Burgers.
was.
It's like a 4-way intersection, right?
Right, I think it was where
That
the
area.
Dunkin' might be, but don't quote me on that. It's not like I'm on a podcast or being recorded.
Right, yeah.
There's no record of you saying
But for future community notes, Szechuan Tokyo.
wow, let's bring it back.
Let's bring it back, man, and we'll do some Booyah one-offs there with some Rolling Stone tribute nights there. That's what we'll do.
Well, he does own, the owner of Szechuan Tokyo and currently owns a bar called Arena Patio in Hartford
Oh,
on
dude.
Weathersfield Avenue.
Paul's Bar.
Yeah, Paul owns Szechuan Tokyo.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
That was his restaurant or his venture prior to Arena Patio.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I've had some crazy nights at Paul's Bar.
Oh yeah,
With the
imagine
Fundo.
at Paul's restaurant.
Yeah. So, all right. So now we know a little backstory about you, especially in terms of like your musical background, how you came to like meet us and Booyah and that whole thing. What's up, man?
Szechuan Tokyo.
You said his name 3 times, so we
Right. It's like Bloody
switch
Mary.
over.
Or
Right.
grab a chair, man.
Bufundo.
All right. Well, we were just talking about obviously a lot of the Stones background. You know, him growing up.
Should we talk about the Pittsburgh show?
No, but we went and saw the Stones in Pittsburgh.
We had a fun time. I feel like we've been training our whole lives for this. We got there, and it was COVID, so unfortunately we couldn't go like backstage to meet them. But they set us up with a giant open bar, like in the Pittsburgh Steelers stadium, like in like one of like the fancy boxes, and we got was it Trogs? We were
Yeah,
drinking?
we drank all of
We
the
drank
Trogs.
all their Trogs, and like there was a bunch of like British people there, and I'm like, "Hey guys, there's a really dope pool table over there. We should pick it up and move it in the middle and play some pool." And they're like, "Yeah," like
Yeah, they
convince them all to pick them up.
play
We
the
got it.
pool.
We got it open up. We got all the cues, and I'm like, "Where's the balls?" And they're like, "Oh, we don't let the people have the balls because it's all glass windows around here." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea." All right, so he left it there. Security came and moved it back.
Yeah.
But it was like a really cool moment, like me and all these like British guys, like, yeah, let's move the fucking table, yeah.
Camaraderie.
Yeah, that's some rapport building right
Yeah.
there.
But it was a great show. It was an
I
amazing
think there's
show.
another. I definitely looked through your Instagram earlier today and saw a photo of you guys together at that show. And Profundo just was like glossy-eyed, like
I was like,
clearly had been
I'd been
emotionally.
drinking, but it was I was like, I was crying.
That's
Like,
what I mean,
I
yeah.
saw Mick Jagger come out. And I'm like, Dave, that's fucking Mick Jagger right there. Like, I was crying like a schoolgirl. Like, yeah, they played Tumbling Dice, and it was like, it was amazing. But, like, it
Yeah.
got me, hit me right in the heart. It was
Yeah.
great. But yeah,
That's one of my
They do
favorite
that.
ones.
Yeah.
Tumbling Dice, that breakdown.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
like the guitar and drums
Just
and all
let it
that.
chill and build up, and by the end, it's just majestic and triumphant.
Also, the background vocals really make that song too.
Oh, definitely.
yeah, dude.
That album's really good. Exile on Main Street.
No, I have a.
That might be my favorite album.
Is it?
I love Some Girls too. That's not
Yeah.
but yeah.
Some Girls.
They're like dirty New York '77, like semi-punk fashion disco. Like it's
stripped down.
you can like smell the trash on the street when you listen to that album. It's like, I feel like you're like walking down the city. It's a good feel.
Is Miss You on that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
of course it is.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That line about walking through Central Park.
Yeah.
I always thought that's what he was saying.
Rats
I
on
looked
the
at lyrics
yeah.
and-
Was it Rats on the West Side, Bed Bugs Uptown?
Yeah.
Tons and tatters.
I'm in shat. Hell yeah.
My brain's been splattered.
Do you have a favorite Rolling Stones song?
I don't know if I could do a favorite.
Yeah,
Um,
that's like an impossible.
It's hard.
Do you have a favorite era of Rolling Stones?
I don't know. I mean, like I guess one of the bigger debates is like who was their best guitar player. I guess that's definitely a big one.
I'll take Ronnie Wood.
Same.
Mick Taylor was great. You sounded too clean. Like Ronnie Wood sounds like a little like he's had a few shots of Jack. And,
Yeah. And I mean, I felt like they definitely like meld better. I felt like when Mick Taylor was in the band, it was a clear-cut lead guitar and kind of rhythm, versus with Ronnie Wood, they're kind of weaving and going back and forth, which is real neat.
Did you ever meet Charlie Watts?
Yes.
You did.
Oh yeah.
What was he like?
Really chill. I
Yeah?
mean, he was very classy.
Was he like? He's almost like the least Rolling Stones member of Rolling Stones, the way it seems to me.
I love the story with him and Mick. Back when like Mick was like doing some interview and he says like, oh yeah, Charlie Watts is my drummer, and Charlie Watts heard about that, like went to his hotel room, like knocked on the door and just punched Mick in the face, like, fuck you, you're my singer.
And he got dressed in a suit too.
Oh shit!
He like, got all dressed up and went down there and just punched him in the face.
So he's a chill dude.
Yeah, he was very chill. But he was very classy.
Yeah.
And like he was very attuned to his outfits, and he had these really nice fancy cars. And he had like his outfit would be upholstered similar to how the car, or the car was upholstered similar to his outfit, which is a real interesting kind of vibe.
That's cool, man. I've always liked his drumming, and like I'm trying to channel his classiness tonight for sure.
It's like simplistic, but it fits. You're not hearing a lot of fills. You're not hearing a lot of flair.
He's not like John Bonham,
like,
which is
the
like
fucking beat.
the,
like, it's
the,
not
the
going
rock fill master, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I always thought the way he entered songs was really unique.
Dude,
like he sort of just falls into the
he just
groove.
tumbles into the song
Yeah.
half the time, and sometimes it's like on the wrong side of the beat.
Yeah.
And then he corrects it, and then they're like, "Well, let's keep that.
Yeah.
That's the
sounds
take."
rock and
You
roll.
know.
Yeah.
And now that's just how you hear it, so you would never
I know.
think of it being any way else.
But then learning it kind of screws me up because I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
Even,
there
like,
it is.
the
There's
ending
beat
of-
one."
The ending of "Can't You Hear Me Knocking," where it's like he fucks up the very last note, dude.
Yeah.
And they kept
kept
it.
it.
They're like, yeah, you know what? Fuck that. We can cut that out if we want to, but no, it sounds real. It sounds raw.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably been remastered enough times where they've made the decision to keep it. like every couple of years.
All right, so my question now is like, how the heck did you get into like go from rock and roll life to like politics?
Senator Dave.
Okay, so yeah,
Those who don't
he used to
know.
live at the Funk House, like, which is like the West End Blend kind of house, and like, I would always see him coming home from like, I don't know, like meetings and studying, and half the time you're in a suit, you know what I mean? And then like we just like, you'd go straight from that to like a Booyah after party, and we'd all call him Senator Dave. How did you get into politics, anyways?
Well, I mean, I really kind of fell in love with the structure, I guess, of it. I felt like growing up, things were kind of all over the place a lot, which is fine. I mean, I didn't mind that, but like on the adult side of things, like it kind of gravitated towards something that was relatively structured and relatively good organized.
Yeah.
So that kind of was the go about. But I went to University of Tennessee in Knoxville first. That was the first
Before
school.
Trinity?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
At 18, I went down there and I was a jazz guitar major. So shout out to the jazz program down in Knoxville.
See,
Go Vols.
that's the path I would expect you would have taken, you know?
Yeah, that was kind of, I guess it was funny. There was some news article in the Journal Enquirer, which is a,
Hello, Keenan.
what's going
Come on in and join the conversation.
I won a scholarship at 18 for from the library, from the South Windsor Library. I won a scholarship, and there's a news article that was like, Dave Schultz won this scholarship. He's going to attending the University of Tennessee for jazz guitar and has aspirations of cruise
Bye,
line
Ian.
entertainment.
Cruise line. Oh, right.
Because I wanted to play in a cruise line band.
Right.
That was the whole plan at 18 was I was going to
Do
play
that.
in a cruise line band somewhere in the Bahamas, just going out there playing the same 20 songs 5 nights a week and just jamming out on a boat. That was a plan A. Things apparently derailed, and I work for the government now.
But man, like, I was always so impressed by just like your tenacity to your work. Like, you were always like we'd be out late, you know, like Booyah after party vibes, and then you just wake up and like be like, I've got an exam tomorrow morning. I'm like, what, dude?
It's
And you're like,
5
yeah, I'm
o'clock.
about to go study. I'm like, are you crazy? Like where do you get that drive? Like, where does that come from for you?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like when I know I want something, I will work towards getting it and kind of prioritize things. And it was fun. It was interesting living in the Funk House because I really had to kind of prioritize my job. I used to work restaurants. Shout out Capitol Grill, right around the corner.
Yes, sir.
And I was
Great.
doing that. I went to college at Trinity in Hartford, and then I was doing music, funk house, and the radio kind of as well. So it was a lot of just like organizing my schedule, trying to figure out like if I can get XYZ done, I can go do ABC for fun later on, and being able to kind of juggle a lot of different things. But they were all interests to me. Like none of that really felt like, I mean, it didn't felt like a job. The restaurant thing obviously kind of was, but none of it was like I really hate doing this activity. It was along the lines of I can do this because I'm going to do this later.
Right.
Or being able to, the trade-off. I'm going to work hard now so I can enjoy myself after everything's been completed.
You're a strong man for doing that.
Yeah, seriously. And I've been like, the reason why I asked this question too is because like I feel like I got like a new job and like I'm trying
congrats.
Thank you, but like I'm just like finding myself asking the question of like what drives you, like what drives you to succeed, like because obviously you get a new job, you want to do well, right? Or like you take a new course in life like you did and you want to succeed, right? But it's like there's got to be something that like inside of you or some sort of inspiration from your past, like something's got to be like your driving reason. Like what is that why? You know what I mean?
For me, it's
I'll open this up to the group, guys, because like I think we're all
Yeah.
hard workers in this room, and like, but everyone's got their own like thing that gets them out of bed in the morning. Sometimes I lose sight of it, and I have to like ask this question and learn from other people. What drives you guys? You know?
For me, it's the people. It's like when we play and it's kind of like everyone having that same connection in the room of like the person in the crowd, the person on stage, everyone there kind of like we're all at this point together, and we hit those moments where it's just kind of like, yeah, that feels good, and everyone just kind of feels great, and it's a way of like kind of forgetting everything else that's going on in the world and like having this thing that we all share, this like moment of joy, this moment of like happiness, this moment of just like, even if it's like groove, and even if it's sad, sometimes the moment of like just having that moment together no matter what it is.
Yeah, the catharsis of it all.
Yeah.
The catharsis of it all. True, Clay.
Keenan, what about you? What drives you to succeed? Where do you find that drive?
I don't know. It comes in like ebbs and flows for me. Like I'll feel relatively uninspired sometimes and like not want to like practice as much or like write as much or even like gig as much even if I have to like make money.
Yeah.
But lately the thing that's been keeping me going is just like kind of like Profundo said, it's just like my love for like bringing people together with music. Yeah. Or it's the same with teaching too. It's like I try to get like the kids I teach. I feel like you feel the same way about that. Like getting the kids to feel that same excitement. Obviously, you want the people on stage with you to feel that same excitement.
Right.
Can't force it, but like hopefully, like you can bring the energy to remind someone else. What else? Yeah, and then also just from a young age, I always had like this passion for music. I always loved listening and always wanted to play. So like, I try to think about, especially as I get older, I try to think about those like early feelings and like early memories of like loving music and trying to like get back to that feeling.
Yeah.
Always. So.
Yeah.
Clay?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you guys are saying. Like, I think it's definitely easy to get caught up in, like, the career aspects when you're, like, trying to be a musician. And, like, there's just a lot of ups and downs and instability and whatnot. But it's, like, if you can stay connected to just, like, having fun playing your instrument or making stuff with your friends, like I think that, you know, like you have these like plans and expectations and timelines that like usually it life unfolds just like so differently than that. But like if you can try and maintain the constant of like Booyah is really great for that, because every single week you can go and see a show or play a show or connect with people and kind of like charge up your batteries or charge up other people's batteries or whatever it is, you know. And so like as things have happened differently and like sometimes you get a little thrown off your vibe because of that, it's like I find like connecting back with like having fun playing your instrument and playing fun songs with your friends is just like, oh, that's authentic and real, and you can't really like fuck with that as much as like you know, like I totally understand like, oh, like we want to make money with this or want to make a career or have this be a part of our life or these endeavors, but it's like sometimes that can get a little weird sometimes, and it's nice to just be able to play music with your friends and make people happy with it, you know.
I kind of want to jump off that, like
Yeah, jump off that.
the fact that we have to like make money and we're essentially like commodifying ourselves in music so we can make money, which like makes me feel sick inside sometimes.
Yeah, totally.
But also, like, you know, it's always fun playing with the homies, and it's always fun making people happy. So it's like, you know, sometimes you do those gigs that you don't necessarily want to do, or like, you know, like some of the. I'm not saying I don't want to do the wedding
Some of them are
gigs.
jobs.
Some of the wedding gigs
Yeah,
are
jobs.
yeah, like the wedding gigs are like jobs, or like, you know, things like that. And even then, like
Even then, sometimes
the ones that
jobs
we've
are
been doing
great.
with
They're
like the Six Fox Boys, like that shit is like
It's fun.
it's home.
It's-
That's like.
It's cool.
I do some wedding gigs where it's like not like that at all,
Yeah,
and it's
I
like
subbed for Keenan for a
completely.
wedding gig.
Yeah.
And like I knew you were giving me this gig. I'm like, he wouldn't play this gig unless it was like if it was whack. Like if
Yeah,
it sucked,
and-
he wouldn't take that gig. So I'm like, I trust you. And sure
Yeah.
enough, it was a great.
There's a
gig.
certain
Yeah,
amount
it's
of
that's a good hang,
soul-sucking
but
that you're
even
willing to
even that gig
endure.
has like some soul sucking to it. Like,
Yeah.
What
But,
songs
yeah.
are jobs?
Yeah.
What songs are jobs?
I guess it depends on the person.
You know,
Yeah.
it's superstition.
Okay. So
I
Keenan's
play superstition. That's a job.
yeah,
That's a job.
Keenan's hardest song to job is definitely September by Earth, Wind and Fire.
I fucking hate that song.
yeah.
Oh god, it's great, but I hate it.
Many weddings. Yeah.
Brown Eyed Girl.
Oh,
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
It's gonna be a
most
job,
Van Morrison.
you know.
Is Use Me
I'm
a
not
job?
tired of playing.
Use Me? No, we don't play that one a lot.
Oh, see,
like
we
some
jobbed
songs-
the fuck
yeah.
out of that.
Do ya?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some songs, it's like it's not even a job. Like even, it could be a job song. It's like, oh, cool. But some songs that are job songs that you just play every time, it's just like, I don't want to play Valerie anymore. I don't want
Yeah. What about all right? Here's like a in between. What about Work Song by Cannonball Adderley?
I mean, if they call that, like, that's cool. I think
It's literally Work Song.
Oh, job.
Yeah, dude, you're
Job
germ
music.
right there. It's a germ right there, yeah.
Do you remember that Nikita video where we were like, "This is our music job"? I don't even remember. Sorry, that was it.
I forgot that one, yeah.
Dude, also another thing I gotta commend you for is your commitment to that radio show. Like, dude, this guy does so
Peanut
much
Butter
shit.
Jams?
Yeah, like he does so much shit.
I was on that
Like,
Everyone
You
here.
got the
You haven't
Thanksgiving
been on
show
Peanut
coming
Butter
up.
Jams yet.
no, I have not been in Peanut Butter and Jams, but
You
I
have to come on.
would love to go. Yeah, let's do it.
Wait, are you still doing it?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Done
shit.
5
Tell
years.
tell
Wait,
tell
do you
tell
drive-
the listeners what it is.
Sometimes.
Damn.
Top, what,
Yeah. So Saturday afternoons from noon to 2:30, I have
what
peanut.
station is it?
WRTC 89.3 FM if you live in Hartford. It's a radio station at Trinity College. Roll Bants. Yeah, and it's called Peanut Butter and Jams. I play jams and tell jokes. I do the weather report, where it's positive weather, so I give the percentage that it won't rain, which is enjoyable, and I also get to do math.
Nice.
Like-
It's a 10% chance it won't rain.
0%
Exactly.
chance of a tornado.
And I always do the wind speed and the moon cycle because that all matters.
Oh, like it's a waning gibbous tonight or
Yep,
something?
and
Okay.
the wind's like 12 miles per hour northwesterly
You gotta
direction.
please the
I don't know, I'll
astrologist
check it
too.
out.
But I also do shout outs to dogs. I love dogs.
Yeah.
I've got a dog. Her name's Naya, and there's like 120 dogs now on the dog shout out list. And I got it broken down by state. There's the Connecticut dogs, the Commonwealth dogs, the Ocean State dogs. There's the Southern Dog Delegation. They probably vote Republican, but like we don't know because they're dogs. And yeah, like there's a whole bunch of them. And I also do there's dogs that have passed away, like the memorial dogs.
Oh,
And then there's the celebrity memorial dogs, which is the dog from Frasier, all the Airbuds, and the Homeward Bound dogs too.
Are you keeping track of this? Are you like keeping tabs on all celebrity dogs? You're like, oh fuck, the dog from Frasier died.
Kind
Damn
of.
it. Yeah.
I'll
Do you make a
definitely
post
check
about
in
it?
on them.
Like I posted about Roy Haynes yesterday, and you posted about like the Frasier dog.
The Air Buddies.
All right, Dave, we're going to wrap this up with some rapid fire questions I drummed up earlier today.
All right.
This is a first for the Booyah podcast for any of the OG listeners
Pow,
here.
pow, pow.
All right, are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
And so the whole idea is I ask the question and you can't take a moment to think. You
Okay.
just give the first answer that comes to mind. You ready?
Yep.
Crunchy or smooth peanut butter?
Crunchy.
Strawberry or grape jelly?
Strawberry.
Let It Bleed or Exile on Main Street?
Exile on Main Street.
Fender or Gibson?
Fender.
Your most memorable music moment of your career?
Which one? No, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Don't think. Music.
And then we'll...
I don't know. Can we skip that one?
Okay. Who is your role model?
My dad.
One thing people don't know about you.
I have AB negative blood, which is super freaking rare.
Hell yeah! That's a bomb answer,
knew that
dude.
just from looking
That
at
was
you.
an amazing answer. All right. What did you want to be when you grow up?
A cruise line entertainer.
Favorite place you ever traveled?
New Orleans.
If you were a vegetable, which one would you be and why?
Broccoli, because it's cool. Crunchy. It's crunchy and can also be firm
Just like peanut
and
butter.
soft when necessary.
I like that answer.
And it's good with cheese.
It's good in all forms.
Yeah.
Yes. What is your spirit animal and why?
Lion, because I'm a Leo.
There you go.
Generic answer on that one.
If your life had a theme song, what would it be?
Sanford and Son. I don't know why.
That's great.
And last but not least, what song are you most excited to perform tonight with Booyah?
Tumbling Dice, that breakdown towards the end of it. I just love that part.
Yeah,
that
baby.
and Midnight Rambler, Monkey Man. There's a lot of them, but Tumbling Dice, if I have to pick one.
Awesome, man. Well, any closing remarks from the group or yourself before we sign off?
I had a wonderful time doing the podcast. Looking forward to getting you on Peanut Butter and Jam. So we can do the weather, the
Dude.
positive weather forecast.
Sign me up, man. It's overdue. And honestly, we're so excited to have you on tonight. You're obviously, you have the Rolling Stones woven into your DNA, and we can all hear it. So, guys, every Wednesday, Booyah, free. Now there's like free food, so there's literally no excuse to not come out on a Wednesday.
Oh, wait, you weren't kidding about that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I thought that
They're
was the
putting
opening
out
act.
Free food at like 8 p.m. So come on, get your free food.
They're a great band.
And that's
Free
another
food.
episode of the Booyah Podcast. We love you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Goodbye.
You guys rock.
Forever.
Let's crush it.
Dude, I'm so glad you picked the right peanut butter.
Oh, thank you.